country are committed to getting things back.
And bam, we have a radio show. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the live stream of the JT the Brick Show with our buddy Clay Baker. And we got a nice show lined up today. Look what my boss got me. A nice little, look at that bottle. Look at that bad boy. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. If anybody knows, you know, that's a nice bottle. How are we all doing? Let's get the chat going. Let's do some mini monologue action. Let's do some mini monologue. I threw out some red meat to some of the trolls. I didn't know this. Clay, did you know that Pete Carroll is 8-0, 8-0 against the Eagles? He has not lost to the Eagles since 2010. Yes, and VGK lost to my old Islanders. You know, Fabian, I'm getting, or Snow Raider, I'm getting a little bit mellower in my age. You know, I'm not a two-team guy. People say, well, you grew up a Giant fan. Everybody knows I'm with the Raiders. I've been with the Raiders close to my whole life. Greg Papa grew up a Bills fan. He's with the Raiders and the Niners. You're loyal to the team that employs you. But the Raiders have been more than an employment to me. You know, they're fandom to me, too. Look, I'm in the Black Hole Hall of Fame. But, yeah, I'm getting mellower later in life because you can have a second team. But I'm not fans of having multiple teams, man. I think you should put all your energy into one team. Now, the big test for me is going to be when the NBA comes to Vegas. When the NBA comes to Vegas, because I'm a diehard Knicks fan, diehard. But if the NBA gets an expansion team, and I'm still here, I'll probably be a fan of that team. Will I give up the Knicks? That'd be hard. We'll get to that. That's years away. Yeah, and the Dodgers just got better. The Dodgers are out of control spenders. Now they're trolling everybody. The Dodgers are loving it. Clay, please don't tell me about Skirball. Please. No trades. It sounds like he's going to the Dodgers. Pete Alonso to the Orioles. You know who's the guy I want to get more than anybody is that Paul Skeens. Give me Paul Skeens on the Yankees. You won't hear me bitch forever. You give me Garrett Cole, Slittler. Still have hard to Slittler. You give me those guys, I'm okay. 30 seconds. All right. What would you like me to include in the monologue? If you were a writer behind the scenes, what would you want me to cover here in the open?
America's game as Army takes on Navy on the gridiron, live, Baltimore, Maryland. This will mark the 126th meeting of these two teams as these academies will let it all out on the field. Our coverage starts in pregame Saturday at 11 with kickoff set for just after noon on Raider Nation Radio 920.
Gambler's bonus hits again.
All right, Clay. We got Pete Carroll, who just spoke. We have Vinny Bonsignore and Chris Myers. Chris joined me last night, but it's all fresh. It's me. So I'm going to replay Chris Myers, who did the Shador game. He's got the Houston game. We'll probably run that next hour.
Stream us live. Listen to past podcasts 24/7 at lbsportsnetwork.com. This is Raider Nation Radio 920 AM, KRLD Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
You know, we're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance at the place.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT in Vegas, live on Twitter, X, live on YouTube, JT the Brick YT, and live on the Raiders mobile app. Wow. If you have the phone of the Raiders mobile app, live on Raider Nation Radio 920. As I begin the show, I'm showing everybody in my live stream. Look at this. My boss, Natalie, got me a beautiful big bottle of Camus. I haven't been milking my 60th birthday, but I've been kind of milking it. I've been milking it a bit. November 23rd, and had a milestone birthday, and a lot of people have been very kind to me. So I'm not like a 13-year-old girl who has birthday month, but it was very nice to get some nice Nice words over the last couple of weeks. Now we're on. We're on to Philadelphia, as Belichick would say. Oh, and Cisco, you'll love this. And everybody listening, I threw out some red meat to the internet. I didn't know this. My buddy Sam, who's a producer at ESPN in LA, and one of my dear friends who was out here this weekend, sent me a text that said the Eagles have not beaten Pete Carroll since 2010. Pete Carroll is 8-0 against the Eagles. Now, that's an important point for a couple of reasons. Number one, Pete Carroll coached an elite team in Seattle for a long period of time. They were very good. They played in 2 Super Bowls. They should have won 2-0. They won a Super Bowl. They won 2 NFC championship games, which meant they won divisional rounds, wild card rounds. They won a lot of games under Pete Carroll. That's when Philadelphia wasn't great. You know, Philadelphia's been really good lately. It shows you how the sport changes. The sport changes pretty quickly. You can go from being a team out of the playoffs. Look at the Washington Commanders. 2 years ago, there were 4 wins, and now look at them. They're going to get 4 wins again after going to the NFC championship game. It happens quickly, but it hasn't happened quickly here in Las Vegas since the Raiders moved from Oakland. We had 1 playoff season. That's the year they took John Gruden from us. Yes, they did. They took John Gruden from us. I know more about that topic than anyone on earth, maybe other than a state Supreme Court justice in Nevada. Why would I know that? Because Bruce Allen, they stole his emails. He was my mentor. He brought me to the Raiders, still a dear friend. John Gruden, dear friend of mine, got hired the same day as him. And they took John Gruden from us. Yes, it was a hit job. Brett Musburger said that on this show. A flat-out hit job. And they took Gruden from us when we had a winning record and Gruden had a 10-year deal from emails that had nothing to do with his time in the NFL. It was when he was a broadcaster. I'm not condoning what he said in the emails. Never have. Never condoned it. Never said, hey, I support what he said. But he's atoned for that, right? No one will debate that. Whatever you think of John Gruden and what he said in those emails, and wow, wait till you hear who's on those emails. I'll leave it at that. They took him out. And it changed everything in Vegas. And we've gone through a whole bunch of coaches. Then that brought us to Pete Carroll, who's got a better winning track record than John Gruden or any other coach since John Madden, including Tom Flores. And we love Coach Flores, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Man, do we love Tom Flores. Pete Carroll is probably the most respected and winningest coach to come to the Raiders in quite some time. And it'll turn out to be one of the worst seasons, wins and losses in Raiders history. It happened. It happened. No one saw it coming. Even the Raider haters outside the organization and a few of those scoundrels who wear their Raider colors and rip on the team and Pete all the time, they didn't even see it coming. Nobody saw a 2-win season. I repeat, Vegas and the casinos didn't see a 2-win season, and we're in the middle of it. And that's the focus of the monologue, brought to you by Golden Entertainment, Arizona Charlie's, the Laughlin Entertainment Center, the Strat, over 70 taverns, and they do toy drives. They raise money. They help out my buddy Chet Buchanan with his toy drive. They're fantastic. PT's fuels the monologue, 5 to 7 to midnight to 2. So we're in the middle of one of the worst seasons in Raider history. How'd we get here? Wow, that's a podcast. How we got here, that's a book. I mean, how'd we get here? Wow. And that's what's happening now. Everybody who is a content provider at the highest level, and the highest level, what I would mean by that is like an Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter. Those are the highest level of newsbreakers. I think I've been doing a good job for almost 30 years. I'm somewhere in between that. And then you got the newbies, new people on the radio and TV, brand new. We give them the respect. And then you have a whole new world of social media talking heads who have social media challenges. Who loves that more than me? I was a caller on the Jim Rome show. Remember, I was a stockbroker making 6 figures. There aren't many podcasters today making 6 figures. I can promise you that. I was doing that before I left to get into radio. So I was a content provider who had to start by taking a phone call on the Jim Rome show on a cassette before CDs were invented, and I had to give it to someone and say, can you give me a radio show on in the middle of the night? So don't tell me I don't know how to build a content environment. I did it the hard way. And then I didn't get on a radio show like people do today by just dressing like a costume character and screaming and being made fun of by the host who make them put on costumes and mock them and make fun of them. But they're on TV and radio. That'd be really cool. If you want to get in radio and TV in 2025 going forward, just dress weird, grow out your hair and beard, don't comb it, get on a TV or radio show and have them make fun of you, and you'll be closer to getting a radio show than anybody else. That's the best way to do it now. I had to do overnights. I had to do overnights for years on big radio stations until I got a chance to go out on my own. It's the truth. So everybody now is taking shots at our coach, Pete Carroll. And I try to come on here every day and say he's a good guy. And that doesn't matter anymore. Wow, that doesn't matter? Doesn't matter to some of these guys out there who are taking shots at our coach. Really, it doesn't matter that he's a good guy and he's got a legacy and he's a borderline Hall of Fame coach. Tom Coughlin's got 2 Super Bowls. He's not in. Look how long it took Jimmy Johnson to get in. Robert Kraft's got 6. He's not in. But Pete Carroll will be considered for the Pro Football Hall of Fame for his contributions as a coach. And we got our own fans making fun of him and calling him Joe Biden and doing all that. That's something, huh? That's amazing. That's amazing. You just can't say, man, what a bad year. What a shame. He might be here. He might not. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But, man, we just can't leave the 74-year-old man alone. So, quick story. Yesterday, I go and interview him. And he comes into the studio, and he's got a club on his hand, a giant cast, like a big cast. It looked like a Christmas turkey that was frozen and wrapped. And out of respect to him, I didn't ask him what happened. It's none of my business what happened. And I'm not going to say, hey, coach. I said, coach, you okay? He said, yeah, I'm all right. I said, all right. He told me that he had a surgery. Said something. It's obvious he had a surgery. His hand's covered in a block of bandages in a cast. He just told everybody, he made jest of not catching punts, if that's what happened. And we did this. And when the interview was done, I said, I hope you feel better, coach. He said, thanks. No yelling. No, I didn't get on the radio. I didn't tell anybody on the radio that he had a cast on. It's no one's business. He's going to tell you that when he's ready to tell you. And you'll hear it in his upcoming press conference. So Pete's a really good guy. And people are making fun of our coach, which I find deplorable. You can mock his record all you want. You can be furious about it. But I've always said, don't take personal shots at these guys, because the people who do would be the first person, if they bumped into him in a restaurant, to go and ask for a selfie. They would. They would. They would. I don't have to tell you that. And, you don't have to leave him alone when it comes to being upset about the record. But the guy's optimistic every day. He has one speed. He goes in there every day, and he only knows how to coach one way. Same way he did it when he came to the NFL. Then he got super successful at USC. At USC, he started bringing in celebrities like, Snoop Dogg and Will Ferrell on the sidelines. He built the celebrity status of USC. Then he recruited great players, and they played in the biggest games. Then he went to Seattle. He helped build the 12s. A great fan base, and won a lot of games. And then, he came to the Raiders to try to help out Mark Davis and Tom Brady. That's all he wanted to do, is help out. Yeah, I think I can do the job. And it's been a complete struggle. And at the end of the year, there are going to be a lot of content providers who are going to say, I told you so. Oh, the chemistry wasn't great between Pete and Chip. You don't think we know that? Really? Oh, the chemistry wasn't great maybe with someone in the front office or someone else. You don't think that's obvious? We all know that there's things that aren't perfect. It's not perfect. So they're trying to play out the rest of the schedule and do it professionally. That's all. They're just going to try to play out the schedule professionally because they're a professional football team. And we're going to see what happens here. Could they win a game down the stretch? Yes. Would you be furious if they did? Yes. I understand that. You won't be hearing me talk about winning much the way I used to talk about winning. I understand the importance of this pick. I'm well aware of the importance of the first or second pick between the 7th and 8th pick. But what I'm also aware of, because I've anchored all these draft shows for the Raiders, is no matter where the pick is, you got to pick the right guy, Clay, right? You got to pick the right guy. Doesn't matter if you have the 2nd pick or the 7th pick. If you swing and miss on that pick, like this organization has done, from Henry Ruggs, who was a great player, and we know what happened there, all the way to Alex Leatherwood, all the way to Damon Arnett. It doesn't matter where you pick if you have a bad selection at that choice.
And listen, just because you may have like the first pick in the draft doesn't necessarily mean you take a quarterback. If your evaluations don't add up to where you think that's going to make your team better, sometimes even BPA is the best place to go because that never lets you down.
Yeah, and look, this would be the year. This would be the year under. A lot of people have been saying this. I don't want to do draft talk, and I just got roped into it by myself. This would be. A lot of people are saying, keep drafting a quarterback high until you get it right. I 1,000% agree with that. Just keep taking swings. Not with free agent quarterbacks anymore. I like Kyler Murray. I'm the only one in this entire city who said get Baker Mayfield. That'll be pretty cool if anybody brings that up years down the road. I'm the guy who wanted Baker Mayfield. That would have worked out well. Remember my famous line, I'd go pick up Aaron Rodgers at the airport? Aaron Rodgers was available. He would have been pretty good. He's playing years after he was available for the Raiders, and he's in the playoffs. How'd that work out? So with all that being said, I'm a big believer in getting Mendoza or the next best quarterback. But that's what's going to drive Raider Nation crazy, is when all the pirates, when all the people that are content providers start screaming they don't like Mendoza. Wait till that happens, Clay. That's going to be the funniest thing you see this offseason, when we take callers who wanted to lose every game. They wanted to lose every game. And then you take calls on the Clay Baker Morning Show and they go, I don't want Mendoza. He did blank, blank, blank. And you're going to sit here and your head's going to pop off and Vinny's going to have to pick it up because those same callers told you to lose every game. And then you're going to have the pick for him, Clay, right there. And you're going to have callers who say, I don't like him. I don't want him. He's a little bit quirky. Get ready for that.
Yeah, finicky eaters, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the texture of mushrooms all of a sudden. Even though you just saw me spend 7 hours in the kitchen trying to make something.
Yeah.
And you knew what you're getting into.
Yeah, even Adam Sweeney in the chat said, we might be able to trade back and still get Mendoza. That's what I'm talking about. Adam, you're a good guy. Thanks for that. You proved my point. Now, I love trading back. When you have no offensive line, oh, my God, I love trading back. Oh, I trade back twice. I go from 1 or 2 to 7. Then I go from 7 to 14. And I just load up on draft picks on the offensive line. The problem is draft picks on the offensive line normally can't play for a couple of years because they never played in the NFL. And they can't handle Myles Garrett and players like TJ Watt. But we're going to get a bunch. We're going to get a bunch of draft picks. And I told that to my youngest son who's on the chat today. I said, look, here's the deal. We're going to get some really good draft picks, I hope, because we got a lot of draft picks and a lot of high draft picks. So let's see what we get when we get it. But again, the people that want to trade back, want to get Mendoza, I know who you are. I'm okay. I just don't like the fact that, I just sat down with Pete Carroll yesterday. I put the interview up online. Some people don't want to watch it. Okay, that's pretty disrespectful to me. Some people want to criticize what I ask them. I think we do a pretty good job asking them pretty much every single thing about the game and every single thing about the next game, as in everything that happened in the game and everything that happened. And we have to do it within 10 minutes, but we don't talk trash and we don't make fun of people, and we try to do a respectable interview and to do all that. So with all of that, we're just trying to get through the season like you are, with season ticket holders and content providers, and do the best that we can do. And some days are going to be better than others, but I load up with good guests. Today, Chris Myers from the NFL on Fox, Vinny Bonsignore, and we're going to kick off the show here with Pete Carroll, who just met the media. These media sessions that are on the field, I don't like much because you can hear the ball in the background and players, but that's how they do it. And then he sits down with me. Then he does. Yeah, he's one of the most. One of the most available coaches in the NFL. He does the maximum amount of interviews. Did you know that? You could do. He does the maximum amount of podium sessions, and he just got off the podium, and here's what he said.
Gina?
Yeah, that he's not practicing today. We're going to go day to day like always and see how it turns out at the end of the week. Kenny will take all the reps to get ready and get prepared in the event that he gets a chance to play.
How confident are you in Kenny if he does have to go, in fact, on Sunday?
I love the way he prepares and practices. He looked very good in the game the other night. We saw, he did some really nice things, big plays, and escaped a little bit, got a little bit of running in. All of that looked really good. So if he gets the chance to go, that was a good lead-in for it.
You mentioned on Sunday that Aiden would be available as well.
Yes.
Ready. Will he be?
Yes, he's ready to go.
How many practices would Gino need to have before you'd feel comfortable about putting him out there? Is that
Let's just wait and see what it looks like, what he feels like. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a set determination on that. It'll be from the gut.
going on the injury reserve list?
So I'm not on. I'm playing. I'm playing. I can play.
What happened with it though?
Well, I probably should have learned a lesson here. That you can catch punts and kickoffs in your 60s, but when you go and get in your 70s, I would encourage other people to not try to catch punts on the jugs machine with those rock balls that they kick down there. So that's just a little suggestion on behalf of some of the elderly, that help out.
I think a lot of 7-year-olds are trying to do that anyways.
Might be the case.
That's probably true. Is there any way to potentially prepare for the weather? I know you can't do it here.
There's nothing much we can do. We just have to be mentally right for it, and we got to take care of business. And as always, and when you get those kinds of, if it is an adverse situation, we just got to deal with it and do our stuff right as best we can. They have to do the same thing.
You guys, anything else?
Pete, you described Kenny's throw as exquisite. How would you describe Shedrick's catch of that throw?
It was perfect. But the play was a perfect play, and the ball was ripped. Split the safety, and the ball was right on the money. And Shedrick looked like he'd been there his whole life. It was a really great play.
A lot of guys can say their first ever NFL catch was a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. He was really excited about it. He didn't really nail his celebration. But next time I think he'll be a little bit better at it.
This season, but are you still able to appreciate those kind of moments that happen during the season?
Yeah, I'd like to think I specialize in that, trying to see the moments and along the way always, and just try to maximize, all of the good stuff that happens and learn from the other stuff that happens, learn from the good as well. Yeah, and particularly that was kind of a, guy gets his first chance to dress and first game and all that kind of stuff, and Kenny gets his first shot with us. I thought that was just a unique one, a special one in particular.
Is there any concern that Gino's injury could be long? I know you said day to day, but is there the way it's looking that you think there's a chance that could be?
No, it's gonna all depend on how he responds to the treatment, and they're doing an elaborate process here to get him right and make sure that he's okay. And we won't know until we get through that. We don't have any indicators yet, so I can't tell you. Am I concerned about him? I'm concerned. I always want our guys to get back as soon as possible. And I know as a competitor, he wants to get back out there as soon as he can possibly get there, and he will. He'll do that.
Will this help be the only determining factor?
Yes.
You said Aiden's ready to go, but if this happens to linger, where does he kind of fit in? How has he looked since he's been back?
We've given him a lot of turns against the defense, so he's had a lot of reps. He hasn't had much with the offense, but he will. That'll gain here with this opening right now. But he's done well, and he understands the scheme. He's a very bright player, has good confidence in himself. He carries himself well about it. Just like you've seen him play, and he's throwing touchdown passes, and he's played NFL football before, so that's all really important to him. So we'll see how he does. I would think that he'll play fine, and we think we know him, and we know how to call a game for him, and feel comfortable with that.
Dante was out last week with a concussion. How's he progression and protocol?
He has passed his protocol. As far as I know, so he'll practice tomorrow. He passed just this afternoon, just like an hour ago. He's going to practice today, and we'll a little bit limited, but we'll just get him through it for the first day out. But hopeful that he can make it back. I know he's dying to get back out there.
All right. We've asked to talk about Fulton too. Is he close to being able to practice?
Yes, yeah, he's getting close. He'll do some stuff today with us for the first time.
As for Max Crosby, how's he doing? I know he missed a couple of days of practice. He played on Sunday, I know, but he missed a couple of days of practice. Do you anticipate him missing any practice time this week?
Yeah, we're going to keep it quiet. He still has kind of a nagging concern with his knee sore, and so it's not damaged, hurt. It's just sore, and as you all know, when he plays, he bangs it as hard as he can in all aspects, and so he warrants a day here, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
You got practice this week. Is Caleb done enough for you to say like he's kind of the right guard right now?
Well, he'll start this week. As things are going, he did a nice job last week, first time out. There's plenty of areas for improvement. But I think the confidence that he gains, we'll see how that affects him from being out there for a whole game. And I was fired up for him.
Yes, good.
Okay.
All right, so that's Pete Carroll, who's in a hand cast. He says it's from catching punts. That's his opinion to say. It's his life, his injury, but he was trying to have fun with it. He's 74 years old. He's running around like a madman. I mean, he runs around. Everybody hopes they could live to 74 and run like that guy and catch punts. So he tried to make light of that. Here's my big takeaway from what he said. And he kind of told me this on Tuesday, but it was an off day. He believes that Geno plays if he comes back. I don't believe that. I don't agree with that. But I respect his opinion because he's the coach. And I interview the coach, and I respect his decision. That's the show. I don't think that Geno, if he comes back, which he won't be 100%, but if he's able to come back, I don't believe that Geno should start over Kenny Pickett. Is that real enough for you? I think that Geno has played poorly all season and should have lost his job by now because he's not playing well to Kenny Pickett or Aiden O'Connell. And then Geno got hurt, and Geno still has his job. So that's all we need to know. We're looking for answers. They don't have to be the answers you like. Okay, I don't hate it. I know that he's going to play Geno because he's loyal to Geno. I'm a loyalty guy. I'm the loyal guy on the radio. I'm loyal. I get it. Geno's loyal to him. But that makes fans go nuts. He explained it to you perfectly. Clay, you wrote that down. What did he say about Geno? If Geno is able to walk off the training table, what happens?
If he responds to treatment, he's going. Adam Hill asks, is health the only determining factor? Yes.
So if he can go, he's going. Now, does it have to do with the money? You better believe it. He's getting franchise quarterback money. Number two, do they not want to bench him because they might need him next year as a bridge quarterback for Mendoza? Absolutely. Number three, if they bench him, is it harder to bring him back if Pickett plays well? Absolutely. This isn't Captain Obvious stuff. Everybody should be able to figure this out on their own. I'm just a facilitator. I'm just a guy that brings you the audio, tells you what I think about it, and wants to get a reaction from you. So that's the show. It's been slow lately. I do 2 hours like I'm going for a walk with my dog. This is the easiest part of my day. It gets a lot harder at night. Doing a national show where I got to study up on college football, and I got to understand what's going on in hockey. This is a freaking walk in the park. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I know what the topics are better than anybody. The topic today is the coach said all Geno has to do, if Geno gets off the training table and they get him right, he plays. I don't agree with that, but I respect the hell out of it. Enough to look Geno in the eye, coach in the eye, and you in the eye. I believe that Geno Smith has played poorly enough this year that he should no longer start for the Las Vegas Raiders. I've been saying that for quite some time. We've given Geno multiple chances to play better. He hasn't. Now, did he have a couple of nice throws? Yeah, he did. When he has a clean pocket, can he be Geno? Absolutely. But as a starting quarterback with only 2 wins, all of it's not his fault. By far, it's not his fault. Most of it, in my opinion, has to do with the offensive line. That's more critical than me being critical of Geno. I'm more critical of the fact that they didn't get enough good offensive linemen. They don't have a lot of good players on the offensive line. A couple of them are banged up, and that's hurting Geno and his ability to play well. Pretty strong comment. But I believe that Geno should not start. Kenny Pickett should start. But I understand why Geno's going to play. And that's how adults have a conversation. That's what we do. So that opens up the phones for you. Let's see what you have on this topic. It's not a hard one. Would you start Kenny Pickett? He's going to lead the team at practice today. Geno's not playing. Kenny Pickett threw a touchdown, had a better quarterback rating than Geno, is healthy, completely healthy and ready to go. Who would you start? 702-365-9200. And we'll go from there. Ashton Genty spoke, Vinny Bonsignor, Chris Myers is going to join us. And we're excited for all of that. You know, two times a day I drive by Findlay Volvo. Las Vegas. It's directly across the street on the other side of the freeway of the world headquarters of Dana White and UFC. So depending if you're going 215 west, it's there on your left. If you're coming 215 east, going into Henderson, it's on the right. Gorgeous palm trees in front. So Mike is in charge of it. And I talked to the Finley family about him. They're thrilled they have him there running that dealership, and they have unbelievable deals. This is the time of year, everybody, that you go look for a car right now. The hybrids, the lease vehicles, the ones, if you want to own a new one, Mike will make deals for you. All you got to do is go to the showroom. They got a great coffee bar, get a coffee, walk around, get in one of the vehicles. They're safe. We need safe cars. Hybrids. I don't want to say never, but I don't put gasoline in my cars. Okay, a hybrid's the way to go. Or if you want just a quality brand new car, Volvo, right there, Finley Volvo, Las Vegas. Go check them out. I'm ready to roll today, man. I came through one of the biggest gauntlets of my life. From Friday night, Saturday, to the double on Sunday, the triple on Sunday, the double on Monday, the double on Tuesday, I feel like I got to the finish line. So I'm ready to rock today. Eagles are up next, and you know I despise those dirty, stinking, green, drunk birds of Philly. Right. Now, who's going to clip me and throw me up on a website? JT the Brick says Geno should be benched. That'll be out around 4 Pacific time today.
Straight the entry of the top. Like that takes some screws to the O line. Potential quarterback for the Raiders.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Get ready to raid the pubs this football season at PT's Gold, PT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold. Join us on game days to catch the game. Enjoy ice-cold $3 Blue Moon Light and Coors Light pints, $20 Topo Chico buckets, plus game day food favorites. You can win free tickets to catch Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, along with a $100 Allegiant bar credit, $100 Uber card, and team gear to wear throughout the game. Your home for football and fun is at PT's Gold, PT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold.
Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza.
Thank you.
To get their famous New York style coal-fired brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at grimaldispizzeria.com.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like.
This is funny, this tweet I'm putting out. So I'm putting out this tweet and I'm saying, God, please, God, save me. This is what I'm dealing with. I actually love the details of this tweet, but I have to navigate through this. Listen to this tweet from
injections or pills or phototherapy.
His name is Ravi, R-A-V-I. Okay, so it's a very detailed tweet. Here's what he's tweeting at me. JT, if I was drafting the quarterback for the Raiders, I would draft in this order. Number 1, Arch Manning, if he declares. Elite size, elite bloodline, good arm and athlete. I agree. I would draft Arch Manning. I love Arch Manning. My son, who's went to Oklahoma, wants to take me outside to the woodshed. I actually agree. I take Arch Manning now. I love Arch Manning. He says, number 2, Drew Aller, elite size, elite arm, built like Roethlisberger. Number 3, T. Simpson, great football IQ, very good at pre and post snap. And number 4, Mendoza, good size, average arm. I live in the Bay and watched a lot of Cal football. That's why I'm a bit cautious. Number 5, D. Moore. That's what I'm dealing with. So this guy has Mendoza 4th on his quarterback list. Yes. Love Ravi doing that.
Make your holiday wishes come true with a new Chevrolet RAV4.
Give yeah. Arch Manning's going to be fine. He's going to be great. His uncles Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. Don't worry about him. He's going to be elite. He throws for 300 yards at Texas. He's going to be fine. Okay? Arch Manning's going to be great. Not good. He's going to be great. Period. I'll die on that sword all day long. He's not coming out. He needs another year at Texas. He's not
Wager, the Williams Nevada Mobile Sports app allows you to go on the go from any iPhone.
Now, wouldn't this be the year that you'd want to have Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels come out? Right, Clay? This would be the year. Imagine the Raiders were picking second. Imagine if the Raiders were picking second and Jaden Daniels was coming out. So he might be damaged goods right now. Jaden Daniels, right? Look at him.
The JT Show, brought to you by the Casa Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call Sico 222-3999.
Good protection. Pickett over the middle to the end zone. Touchdown. Cedric Jackson. His first career touchdown. Bo's great nephew with a great grab here in week number 14.
Yeah, I've always been, try to be as prepared as I can be. The only thing that I think, you don't get as the backup is the rest, which is a huge piece. But outside of that, it's constant communication with Gino, the offensive line, the receivers, just so we're all on the same page in case something happens like it did today, and you can go in there and operate and play good football. So always be ready for when my number's called.
Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's ready to play. And look, I'm not this massive Kenny Pickett fan. I've gotten to know Aiden O'Connell. I've hosted Chalk Talks with him, seen Aiden in the building. I like Aiden. I'd like to see Aiden play. I think Eric Allen and I agreed. I'm not going to put words in a Hall of Famer's mouth, Clay, but Eric and Allen and I were on the TV set and said, we'd like to see Aiden play 2 games and Pickett play 2. And I don't care who they play.
I like that. Good competition.
Yeah, let them play both 2 games and do that. And Gino's banged up. Let Gino sit out the rest of the year and let Gino come back. Gino, there's a really good chance, not really good, I don't know what the chances are, that Gino is going to come back because of financial reasons to be the starter next year. And Gino could have a massive turnaround. I know this is going to drive people nuts. Gino could easily have a massive turnaround in Las Vegas or somewhere else with a good offensive line. Do not debate me on that topic. You'd be wrong. If Gino had a new offensive line that was good, don't tell me that Gino can't play. He can play. He's getting hit like a piñata all year. He's getting sacked. It feels like every drive. Okay, it's not all on Gino. It's not all on Gino. And Aiden, if he was out there, how would Aiden do with this offensive line all year? You tell me. How would Aiden O'Connell do all year with this offensive line? I think Aiden would do one thing better than Gino. I really do. He'd get the ball out quicker. I really believe that. I'm not saying that Aiden's a better quarterback than Gino. Aiden's never thrown for 4,300 yards and 70% in 110 games. He has not. Gino has. But I think if Aiden knew that he was going to get pummeled on every play, I promise you the ball would be coming out quicker. How could it not? You're going to get murdered. You better get the ball out. Gino's holding on to the ball too much because he wants to make plays. There are a lot of plays he's missing, I believe. I think he is. I think he's missing plays this year. It's so easy for me to talk about pitchers in baseball and quarterbacks and say, don't worry, you can bench him for a game. It's not a big deal. We make it such a big deal to let someone sit for a game or 2. It's not. It's not hard. Speaking of baseball, the Dodgers are nuts. Okay, the Dodgers have left the reservation. The Dodgers are up in a spaceship now, and everybody else is in a car. And they're flying around Major League Baseball going, we're already better than you, and we're going to embarrass you because we're going to get Edwin Diaz and maybe Skirball and a couple other guys and just bury you. We're going to humiliate you. And as the only team that can beat them, the Yankees, which are not, I'm not saying they are, the only team that has the resources with their television contract, yes, they have a bigger fan base. Dodgers got a big one. Yankees Yankees have been around and been more successful. Yankees have 27 championships. The Dodgers only have 9, which is less than the Cardinals. But the Dodgers are rolling. And they want to humiliate the Padres. They want to humiliate the San Francisco Giants. They want to humiliate the Yankees. So you would think they'd go, hey, man, we're pretty good. We got everybody. Let's, relax. No. They're at the winter meetings going, we want your guy, your best player, your best player. Fact, not fiction. Get ready. Get ready. And I told you this was coming. That's why I wanted them to lose so bad to Toronto, because I knew they'd win 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 8 World Series. I knew it. I'm just saying, let's try to stop them now. And they're not being stopped. Here's Mike in Vegas on 920, locally here. Hello, Mike, go ahead.
Just the main thing since the season for the Raiders, they might have with all the quarterbacks on the roster might have an idea who to draft next year. But Gino could just sit out the rest of the year, use Pickett and the other guy, and see what they can.
Yeah, but the question, Mike, is why? Why won't the coach, who I really like and respect, why is the coach and the quarterback on the same page that if he's healthy, he gets to play? That's the story of today. He's playing. If he gets out of the tent, he was limping coming out of the blue tent and went back in the game. The coach said today, with all due respect, if he's available, he's going to play. That's what's going to happen, and you believe it should be the other quarterbacks.
Yes, I mean, Pete Carroll is very old-fashioned in this regard. You got to give the other players on the roster a chance to do this. This guy has had a terrible season. Give the other quarterback the chance to prove their worth.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. Thanks for the call. I don't think you're wrong, but this is what's going to happen. The first thing I do every morning when I get up after my prayers is look at the stock market, and I say, man, why is that stock down today? Earnings came out. Oh my God, earnings came out. They blew through earnings, and the stock's down because that's the market. Some people knew the earnings were up and they sold on the earnings. It's about how do you react to the news you're getting. The news we're getting is that Gino's going to play, period. And we got to handle that news. I would suggest that, you watch the games, you see what's happening, you hope that you want to see certain players play, but the franchise quarterback is treated differently than the backup right guard. The backup right guard I'm going to talk to Vinny about it, still has to have a good week of practice. Caleb Rogers is going to start in this game, but he ain't home free, brother. He better have a good week of practice. Gino's different. All Gino has to do, Clay, all those memes where people are in a funeral home and they're in a casket, and then they wake up out of the casket, they jump up, they pop up.
They stare somebody down.
That's all Gino has to do is pop up because he's going to play, because he's the franchise quarterback who they invested a ton of money to play for the Las Vegas Raiders. Will he be back next year is a big offseason topic. That opens up a line for you, 702-365-9200 on Gino or Pickett. I normally don't do this type of radio, but I'm doing it the right way, out of respect to Gino. If you can do that, we'd like to hear your phone call on who you want to start. Also, Aiden O'Connell, out of respect to Aiden, he's involved in this. Here's Ben in Denver on the Raiders mobile app. Hello, Ben.
Hey, JT, love the show as always.
Thanks.
I mean, as a Raider fan, I respect Pete Carroll too, JT, but this is getting ridiculous. Gino's hurt. He got hurt a previous game, and now clearly we can see he's hurt. His shoulder, whatever's going on with him. We're 2-11 for a reason. We're 2-11 because of the stubbornness, I believe. And I respect Pete Carroll, JT, but we're 2-11 because this guy is going with his guys. Geno Smith is 35 years old. And you said earlier, if he had a good line next year, let's say he has a great line. The one thing Geno can't do, JT, is he can't take off. He can't get out of the pocket. We saw Kenny Pickett. Now, I might be a little biased. My daughter went to Scooter Pitt. She played softball there. She knew Kenny Pickett a little bit. So I'm a little biased. I like Pitt. Now, this is a guy who we saw scramble out of the pocket, made some plays. Now, this might have been trash time, but you know what? This is getting a little bit ridiculous. If Geno can go we're just going to let them finish out the last 3-4 games that we have, or what? There's no point. This is why we're 2-11, and this is why I believe Pete Carroll is just a bit out of touch. Great Hall of Fame career. I think we got to go in a different direction.
Okay. Look, I've said that, and I respect your phone call. I agree with you that they should go in a different direction with Geno in the short term. The short term. So if we're all involved the way we hope to always be involved with the Raider Nation, if we go to training camp next year and Geno's there, are you all going to have a meltdown? I mean, you're all going to have a meltdown. Some of you. What are you going to go to training camp and Geno's going to trot out there with the ones, with a new offensive line, a new number one receiver, a new number one receiver, and he's going to come out at training camp? Are y'all going to lose your mind? There's a chance that could happen. There's also a chance it might not happen. We don't know. John Spytek, along with Mark Davis, Tom Brady, the powers that be, are putting together a plan now. And from what I'm hearing, and it's really good, from what I'm hearing is John Spytek is at all of these, and scouts are at all these games looking at players because they know the impact of this draft. They knew the impact of the last draft. They took Ashton Genty. They knew how important it was to get a running back in here. Okay? But they decided in the offseason that they didn't want veteran corners. Our corners have got burned all year because they're young, and they've made good plays. We've praised Porter and Caillou when they've made a play, Stokes. But there were better corners out there available. They weren't brought in. And there were better offensive linemen who were clearly available. They weren't brought in. I would imagine that's going to change. I would imagine that there's going to be a veteran corner and another veteran edge rusher maybe, because Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree sometimes can't make a play. And they're not bad players when you look at their talent level, but it just hasn't worked out. So there's going to be a lot of decisions here, man. But they got a lot of money. And they got a lot of draft picks. All right, let's keep this moving. Al in Colorado Springs. Thanks for waiting. Al, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, JT. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
Hey, man, we got to go with Pickett, man. We can't. And the reason why I'm saying Pickett is because we done lost how many games with Geno? And that include all-stars, JT.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the resume is on the field.
Yep.
So right now, we need to change some things. What you say about insanity? Keep on doing the same thing over.
All right, so let me interrupt you because I want to hear you. You want to win then, right? I thought you wanted the draft pick. You want to lose out. So you put in Pickett, and Pickett's healthy and plays better than Geno, and he beats the Eagles and the Giants goodbye to Mendoza. So you're good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm not saying goodbye to Mendoza, though. I'm not saying goodbye to Mendoza. We can bring them all three back. We can bring Pickett, Geno, and Mendoza.
You're not gonna get Mendoza if you win another game. You're not getting Mendoza. Mendoza's gone. If the Raiders win another game, he's gone.
I understand, JT, but one thing I know by listening to your show, that all of us trying to win. He's a professional. Everybody's trying to win. Nobody's trying to throw games. But at the same time, I'm saying make a business decision and see what you got in Pickett. What if he plays good and we lose? Maybe we can use him as draft bait. Get another pick for him. You know what I mean? I'm not saying throw no games, no, JT.
Of course not.
Yeah, but I'm saying you need to get the best player. Right now, Geno has lost. I mean, what we lost? 10, 11 games? With Geno?
2-11.
2-11. We lost 11 games, baby. I mean, come on. I mean, we had a chance to prove it. Yeah. And I understand, I know he's not the guy that he's not making everybody better. We always said that. We always said, if we had a better line, if we had this, if we had that. We don't have any of that. So maybe Pickens going to be the spark plug and help other players, man.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'm just saying, I'm just saying, go with him, man. I've been drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I'm stopping drinking it right now until next year.
Yeah. As I show everybody, look, thanks for the call. I'm drinking Camus wine. I don't drink Kool-Aid. I'm drinking Camus wine. I actually don't drink Kool-Aid. I know a couple of people think I do. I've been following. I grew up with Lawrence Taylor. I was in Jim Brown's house with my dad. My second father's Fred Biletnikoff. I have a pretty good idea of how to talk football. I know good football, great football, average football, and bad football. This team This team with several good players is playing bad football for an array of reasons, a lot of reasons. So they're a team. They build as a team, they lose as a team. Just follow the lead of Max Crosby. He'll tell you all that. Hey, every game, when I show up at every game, I walk into the building, I do the pre and post game show with Eric Allen. As soon as it ends, I go on the field, try to say hello to Mark Davis, try to say hello to a couple of people there, Reggie Jackson on the sideline. Then I take the elevator up to Tommy White's suite, the 872 laborers, and I go talk to Tommy for about 10 minutes. And I get a chance to meet some of the people that work with him. Because with Tommy, Tommy's got a big job, but the people who work with him have high respect for him. And the 872 laborers building this city on time and on budget. We are building the sports and entertainment capital of the world. There's a lot of construction going on, and Tommy's doing an unbelievable job. We thank the 872 laborers, proud partner of the show. All right, we'll come back. Then we'll get to Chris Myers. He did the Shador game. Shador and Tennessee won. And Chris Myers got the Houston Texans coming up this week. Vinny Bonsignor at 1:30 on a really good day to be on the radio. Gorgeous day in Vegas on the flagship. Wow, I'm really liking this show today, man. Good calls. People kind of coming at it. Good.
Well, I feel that's almost as asinine as asking me if I want to coach. That's almost up there.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
Gear up for epic football game days under the Vegas sun. Stadium Swim at Circa Resort and Casino. Dive into 6 temperature-controlled pools, or relax in luxurious lounge chairs, day beds, and private cabanas. Feel the energy and catch every play from every game on our massive 143-foot screen. When it comes to watching football all season long, nowhere even comes close. Grab your spot at Stadium Swim today at circalasvegas.com.
Looking for your next early in the chat. Chat's been frozen for me. There we go. Kenny Clark.
Perfect ride to fit your lifestyle and your budget.
There are all the comments. Trade Gino to the Vikings. We need a fresh start. Pigs. Good to see you, Pigs. Where you been?
Toyota, driven to
O'Connell wouldn't beef with the fans. Hey, Pigs. I never ever support beefing with the fans. You wouldn't believe what some of the fans are saying to Gino. Okay? So again, I keep my fingers in my pocket, but what would you do, Pigs, if people were yelling at you? I get yelled at online, and I go right back at these trolls. I don't sit there and take it. So, man, you can only take so much.
Destination.
I know Big D. Well, you wouldn't go up to Big D at a truck stop and say the stuff that you're saying to Gino. I can promise you wouldn't do that.
4. Perfect for seniors.
Man, BYU basketball is insane. Man, with the kids they have. God, they're good. Michigan's good.
Guaranteed. Plus equipment included. Yeah. So get your household up to speed. Switch to Cox Internet today. Taxes and fees excluded from price guarantee.
When you need legal advice, you need the brothers. You need the DeCastroverde Law Firm. This is JT. They're my attorneys, and they should be yours too. For personal injuries and accidents, reach out to the DeCastroverde Law Firm. Let their family fight for yours. This holiday season, Raising Cane's is unwrapping a holiday classic.
Let me just say this. I believe we're at 8,000. We're right at 8,000.
Available.
Let me double check. Yeah, we need about 40 more subscribers to get to 8,000. And then I want to get to 10,000 by the new year. We probably won't. But we're getting there. We're getting there, man. This is hard because we're not getting new people. We're just getting the same Raider fans that are coming in here. And I don't want that. I want more people. I want more sports fans. So, when the Raiders, they're eliminated, we're going to do more sports. So I'd like you to share this. If you're on X, help out with other people. But, there's some podcasters that have 100,000 followers. Reason I don't is I don't do much other than this 2-hour show, but we're going to step it up a little bit more. And here's breaking news today at 3:00, 6 Eastern. We're going to do this live stream with Rod Woodson. Hall of Famer Rod Woodson joins me at 3. So, son, put that in the chat. Rod Woodson today, 3:00. This live stream for the Rod Pod, Slay in the Wood. We're going to do it right here on this platform. And normally we do that together, but Rod's been out of town. My son's out of town. I'm going to do it from home.
Is an official face of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
The Brick Show. Modelo was.
I think Fabian gets it. Was Gino really flipping off the nation or some idiot in the stands? Yeah, I think that's a great way to describe it. I don't think that Gino meant for the whole fans, but it came across bad.
Straight open lines.
Yeah, open lines. How about that? 30 years, I got open lines. Unbelievable.
Hall of Fame quarterback.
What sound you like here, Clay? You want to
come back with a Crosby great defensive play against the Broncos?
We only got 2 minutes here, right?
Yeah, we don't have much time.
Okay.
Monday nights on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by Comisario Tequila, the official tequila of the JT the Brick Show.
Personal guide, Matt Bryant starts, motions right, left, throws McLaughlin thrown down. Max Crosby, a tackle for a loss. That is 24 on the season, which is only behind Myles Garrett, who had 2 more today and another sack.
Yeah, Max is having a pretty good year when it becomes tackles for losses. That means he's jumping in and stopping the run, which is pretty impressive when you think about it. So, you know, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, all the great pass rushers, many of them are not known for being great against the run. The greatest that I've ever seen was Lawrence Taylor, because he was drafted as a linebacker out of North Carolina and then became, I think, the greatest defensive player ever. If I go back, I'll have to ask Eric Allen. Reggie White was probably, and Deacon Jones, the 2 greatest defensive ends of all time. I don't recall how great they were against the run. Max now has checked that box. Max is really good against the run. JT, back with you. Brought to you by the DeCastro Verde Law Group. There's chaos on the roads in Vegas. Cones are now popping up. What's with all the cones? Well, people are stopping and getting rear-ended. And I was on the 215 the other day. A car went by me in the right lane at 100 miles an hour, in and out of traffic. It's not your fault, but if you get injured, you're going to need the DeCastro Verde Law Group. They'll help you. They're fantastic. You get 2 for 1, both the brothers, brotherswin.com. So Alex in Orlando, DeCastro Verde, give them a call, 702-222-9999 if you need them. I hope you don't need them, but you might need them. Someone also asked me, how did I feel about all the Denver Bronco fans in our building? I didn't feel good about it. I know why they're there. I auctioned off my tickets to the 3630 Foundation. I raised a lot of money. I auctioned off my 2 tickets in the club and a Fred Biletnikoff jersey Fred gave me for the foundation, and got a really good deal. But I told everybody at the auction, this cannot go to a Denver fan. And the person who bought my season tickets for that game, because I wanted to make a generous donation to the foundation, right in front of my wife, and I said, no, we're Raider fans, we're going. And thanks for the Fred Biletnikoff jersey. No, thank you. So all you got, the people are going to sell their tickets. They're going to continue to do that until the Raiders win. That's it. They're also selling Luke Combs tickets and Morgan Wallen tickets and AC/DC tickets because there's value. People want to come to Vegas and be entertained. And the best time to be entertained is when the Raiders turn this around and they have an entertaining product that's winning a lot of games, and there'll be more Raider fans and less Bronco fans. You know, I knew Bronco fans were going to be showing up because it's an easy flight and the Broncos had a lot of wins. If the Broncos had 5 or 6 wins this year, they wouldn't have been here. You know, some of their local fans would have been here. There's Denver fans in Vegas, many more than you think. But they came from Denver because it just made too much sense. They're having an unbelievable season. All right, Modelo, proud partner of the show, proud partner of our first hour. Thanks to Modelo. Coming up next, Chris Myers from the NFL on Fox. Chris will join us. And then Vinny Bonsignor at the bottom of the next hour. We'll keep the stream going. Got a lot of people in our live stream, and I got a chance to talk to them at the top of the hour. JT the Brick on YouTube, JT the Brick YT, and on X. 1 hour down, 1 to go, as we'll be saying happy holidays all month to all of our great listeners on the flagship.
For Sunday Night Football, so get ready to listen to the Vikings.
Always bet on
I'll be right back, everyone. Be right back.
game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Man, I can't believe this mess I'm in. I don't know what to do. You need a great attorney. Yeah, but nothing. You can't do this alone. You need the Vegas lawyers. Hi, this is Paul Pata. Whether you need representation for DUI, domestic violence charges, record sealing, or any other criminal defense issue, you're going to want the Vegas lawyers on your side. The Vegas lawyers, where compassion and strong legal representation come together. Check us out at thevegaslawyers.com or give us a call at 707-7000.
That's JT for the Black Hole, home to football's most notorious fans. The Black Hole Fan Store is now open Fridays through Sundays inside the world-famous Golden Nugget Resort Casino on Fremont Street. This isn't just a store, it's the official Black Hole Fan Store. One-of-a-kind apparel and merchandise created by the fans for the fans. And Black Hole members save 20%. Join now at theblackhole.com. Once a member, always a member.
This holiday season, give brilliance that lasts forever. At the Diamond Store, discover the largest selection of loose, natural, and lab-grown diamonds, plus the newest jewelry styles, all at everyday prices better than any other sale in town. With 0% financing for up to 5 years, it's never been easier to buy fine diamond jewelry. When it comes to sparkle, style, and savings, the Diamond Store is ready for the season and ready for you. Visit us at Boca Park. The Diamond Store, the official jeweler of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York-style coal-fired brick-oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at grimaldispizzeria.com.
Get ready to raid the pubs this football season at PT's Gold, PT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold. Join us on game days to catch the game. Enjoy ice-cold $3 Blue Moon Lights and Coors Light pints, $20 Topo Chico buckets, plus game day food favorites. You can win free tickets to catch Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, along with a $100 Allegiant bar credit, $100 EPA card, and team gear to wear throughout the game. Your home for football and fun is at PT's Gold, PT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold.
The wait is over. Finley Ineos Grenadier is celebrating its grand opening. Join us this Thursday from 4:30 to 7 at 210 North Gibson Road in Henderson. Celebrate this exciting milestone with live music, light hors d'oeuvres, and complimentary valet parking. Don't miss the ribbon cutting at 5:45 p.m. Be among the first to explore our stunning new dealership and check out the
All right, we're back, everybody. Chris Myers will join us in a minute.
durability. Finley Ineos Grenadier, where adventure begins.
This fall, get in the game and earn cash for betting sports with the William Hill Nevada Mobile Sports app on your phone or tablet. During William Hill's Fall Rewards, earn up to $500 cash back. Between now and December 31st, you'll be eligible for cash back points for every wager made, win or lose on the William Hill Nevada Mobile Sports app. Earn even more cash back points for teasers and same-day parlay wagers made on the app. To enroll in Fall Rewards, opt in, and to see participating locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Your home for radio coverage of Monday night football games is right here on your football station, Raider Nation Radio 920 AM, KRLB Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
One of my expectations, we don't win much, and I don't care how he hears that. I mean, it doesn't. He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's all I'm about.
Worst in Black Hole just sound off for over 25 seats.
I won't play harder longer than guy lining up across the team lining up across from me. And if you're not, then I want to be the space. That's where the Raiders would be. I just like
excellence every day. And now here's JT the Brick.
All right, we're back. Hour number 2 of the show. Chris Myers will join us momentarily. Stick around for that, and we'll get going. And Vinny Bonsignor, Vinny joins us every Wednesday, as you know. We're brought to you by Remy Martin, Sip Like Sports Royalty. I want to share this with you. I had a nice milestone event for me that happened over the weekend, and Remy Martin stepped up with just a lot of their beautiful, generous products that they've always been a part of in my life. So I want to thank Stephen Brody, my buddy Tori, everybody behind the scenes there, walking into the room that I walked into to see all the great Remy Martin product that was there, including a unbelievable margarita, a JT Rita that had the greatest of the Cointreau right there. So thanks to our partners, our great friends, Sip Like Sports Royalty, Remy Martin, our proud partner here on Raider Nation Radio. All right, so Chris Myers joins us from the NFL on Fox. We get a chance to talk to him from time to time. Chris, thanks a lot for coming in here, and I want to begin with this Philip Rivers story, which to me is unbelievable that he was introduced with the Colts here, and the fact that he's going to probably play sooner than later, but his Hall of Fame years could get pushed back literally 5 more years. This is crazy. How do you see it?
Yeah, once he does, and I don't know. I mean, the last time they made the playoffs, the Colts did. I think he was their quarterback. It's just a little too. He passed the physical. He's been out of it 5 years. I know they have a good offensive line. I mean, I'd worry about somebody like, I think he's a grandfather, getting hit or hurt in this case. So I you know, they got Brett Rippon. I know that they're not healthy at that position, meaning the Colts. I don't know that he'll do that much better. He's got to be a little bit rusty. I'll tell you one thing. He's, you know, the great personality, quite a bit opposite Daniel Jones, who's very low key. As we know, Rivers will fire up any unit. So there's a connection there. And I'm a little surprised, as big as his family is, and you know, coaching with his kids and in the area, that he'd even really want to come back to do this. I mean, he'll eventually get into the Hall of Fame, I think. My guess is he never ends up playing in this situation. It's great to have it. I mean, I looked. I saw Jason Pierre-Paul too signed by the Buccaneers with the Rivers news. I'm like, what decade is this? So I don't know. I just don't think it's going to come to fruition. But I'm certainly, he's the kind of guy you would root for when he gets out on the field. It's a great story, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, Chris, what I think's most fascinating about it is typically you get to 10 wins and you're in the playoffs. This year it might be a little bit differently, but he won't play in the Seahawks game by the way it looks. But then they get the Niners at home, the Jaguars at home, a divisional game, and at the Texans. What a gauntlet. I mean, can you imagine if you get it's the Seahawks, Niners at home, Jaguars at home, at Texans, just by the eyeball test for the Colts. That's the toughest schedule. It's got to be the toughest schedule left in all of football.
Yeah, and those are outstanding defenses for a guy who's been out of the game and who's a little bit older. It's just not worth it overall. And it's unfortunate because the Colts certainly look like a playoff team. And then, of course, I mean, they weren't playing that well anyway before Daniel Jones got hurt. But when you look at that division, I mean, they still have Houston and Jacksonville that are both, whether they're wild card or division winners, and those two don't play each other. They've already played head to head. So it's a long shot at this point, and it's really unfortunate for the Colts and Colts fans. But again, I'm a little shocked that this even came about. I doubt that Rivers will actually take the field in a game.
Interesting and a very strong opinion from Chris Myers from the NFL on Fox. So let's get rolling here. A couple other big things that I wanted to talk to you about. The Texans, no doubt in my mind, the most improved overall team as the offense. We talked about this last week too, is catching up the speed with that defense. I just think that I'm never looking at them in the playoffs as a team that I thought could go on a Super Bowl run. But wow, Chris, that defense, they're not going to give up many points. And with all the chaos in the AFC with potential games at New England and at Denver, that defense is good enough to go deep into the postseason if they get in.
Yeah, I mean, they're the hottest team. They're the last team to start 0-3 and make the playoffs. And they started this year 0-3, and they've played a very difficult schedule. And they played in a lot of close games. They were losing early. Remember, they lost to the Rams to start the season. We're very good against them defensively. And, yeah, they're the number one defense in the NFL. I mean, they have layers. Lassiter's playing great, and Stingley in the secondary. Petrie had the fantastic interception. Zero Shire, standing linebacker play, and then of course the bookends with Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. And they're very well coached. I mean, D'Amico Ryan's what he's done there in Houston to get them to the division title the last couple of years, and now in this playoff run. But one of the keys, and I'm with you on their offense, it's just not a top level offense, and Stroud's going to have to play really well. Davis Mills stepped in and went 3-0 in that spot, but Woody Marks, the rookie running back from USC, was Mississippi State before that. Since he was inserted into the starting lineup, it's really made a difference. I mean, every game he started, they've won. That's 5 in a row, and they're going to have to continue to ride that horse and get bigger plays offensively from somebody other than Nico Collins. I mean, Dalton Schultz is kind of a possession receiver tight end. So I think they'll make the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked if they won the division, but it'll depend on Jacksonville because the Jags control their own fate in that division. But it's a cakewalk this week for Houston with the Arizona Cardinals coming to Houston.
All right, walk us through the Shedeur game. You had another great game and a somewhat of a classic finish there, and taking Shedeur out and what happened at the end of the game, the heat that Stefanski's getting, the support Shedeur is getting from Cleveland. That's where I wanted to start from you. You're on the ground in that city, interviewing Shedeur, the coaching staff. What'd you take from the fan base there on their passion for this young quarterback? And he had to wait a long time here. Is the city gravitating to him?
Yeah, no, they have, and look, Cleveland will gravitate to any quarterback who can lead them back to the playoffs, and I don't blame. There's no ulterior motive here. People talking about Stefanski, who's on thin ice, by the way. I mean, a two-time Coach of the Year, got him to the playoffs before, but it's a rough situation. I don't know how secure his job is. He's trying to win no matter what, and the Deshaun Watson disaster, which we've talked about, even though his practice window is open, unlikely he'll play anymore this year with Sanders getting to start the rest of the way. But in talking to Shedeur Sanders, I mean, I heard all these terrible things about him, and in terms of the kind of guy he is, and he was actually nice to talk to. But then he really lit it up in the game, and I think Stefanski, and he said this when we had the Browns earlier in the year, JT, that he did this with Gabriel too, with Dylan Gabriel, where these are rookies, and we're trying to, once we moved on from Flacco, I want to make sure these guys are prepared, they study, and they're ready when we put them out there for their own good and for the good of the team. I mean, they're trying to win football games with a very limited offense. They really, they don't have a lot of star power in offense. Their offensive line is aging. There's a lot of excuses. That's another good defensive team. But to Shedeur Sanders' credit, he waited his turn. He got a couple of shots, and he really lit it up in this game. I got to tell you, I was more impressed seeing him in person. Really throw the ball. He was wise about throwing it away. He did have one bad interception and a few other different throws, but he managed this situation like a guy who wasn't in his third NFL start and hit on some really big plays. As for the 2-point conversion, look, they tried the week before on a Harold Benz, the trick snap that they screwed up against the 49ers. Those trick plays down there, 2-point conversions, 43% of the time in the NFL you convert, maybe closer to 44%. Your extra points, you're 96% of the time. So it's not even a 50-50 proposition. If you have to go for it, I get it. That was part of the question I had. When they scored the touchdown early before they got the chance to go for 2. They went for 2 right away. Some people argue it's a trendy thing. Hey, get that, then you can go for the win. My thing is kick the extra point. You're the home team. You get the ball back. Then you have the choice of tying the game with an extra point and that 96%, or going for the 43-44% 2-point conversion for the win if you want. I don't know why you would take Shedeur Sanders out of that situation, even if you want a gimmick play because of his athletic ability. If he's not throwing the ball, you can certainly line him up as a receiver or even pitch it to him or have him run on some kind kind of an option. So that's the part of the Stefanski call. He took responsibility, but he's not calling the offensive plays now. That's Tommy Rees. He handed that off to him earlier in the year that he took responsibility for. But that's what I had the big question about, and it hit me right away, considering their gadget plays were not working the week before, and they obviously didn't refine them.
Hey, Chris, what could happen here for Tennessee and Cam Ward? Because it's a struggle for him. And he was the first overall pick. Shedeur was taken in the 5th round. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant at the end of the draft. That's a big commitment when you're taking someone number 1 overall and a 5th round pick. Outplays them, even though Cam and them won the game. Do you feel like Tennessee is cool with Cam Ward going forward and his progression? Because, man, they threw him to the Wolves this year. How did he look to you? And when you talk to him, what's he like?
Yeah, I was impressed, and I said this in the broadcast, that, he was the most sacked quarterback coming into the league, and they did a pretty good job protecting him against Myles Garrett, who only had the 1 sack, so he's got 20 for the year. But when I talked to Cam Ward about that, instead of offering excuses about the offensive line or other limitations, he right away in our meeting, and I could tell you when they don't tell us things off the record when they chat with us, but he was like, look, I take responsibility for that. It's a quarterback stat. When we get sacked, I can throw it away. I can run away from them. You saw him with a spectacular escape move at one point in that game against Cleveland, and that told me something. I mean, that he's thinking and doing the right kinds of things. I don't think they regret that they took him. I think they're building around him. They just don't have a lot of offensive talent around him to build with, even though they're trying to build up their defense as well. Their receivers are very limited with the Titans. Pollard had a big game or they don't win the game. I mean, Cam Ward did okay, and I thought had some key throws, but they limited his game plan too, just as he was working, because when they lost Calvin Ridley, they didn't have any explosive plays downfield at the receiver position. So I think Ward is going to be okay. Will he live up to it so hard to compare him to a number 1 pick versus the guys you said who were picked a little bit later? But I think he'll be okay. I think that's a coaching decision down the road, but they'll have a lot to work with draft picks and free agents. On the other side of that, I think if you're Cleveland and taking the flyer on Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, I mean, he showed us all something here. I don't think we need to get too carried away because of the kind of team he was going against, but he did what he had to do in that opportunity and showed not just flashes, but hung in there and had the ability to lead his team back. And so I think there's a lot to like there. If you continue to work with him and he continues to study and prepare like a professional, and you surround him with some other players, I think you got to feel pretty good. Not that you're not going to draft a quarterback if you're Cleveland, and you do have a high draft pick. They'll have to make that determination as they go forward. And again, there's still Deshaun Watson with a year on his contract.
Chris Myers, a couple more quick ones before we let you go. I got to ask you, in your backyard of Los Angeles, the Eagles with all those turnovers, that was pretty ugly there. And Justin Herbert, it seems like Jim Harbaugh wants to run it, and Herbert running the ball won that game in overtime. Chris, I don't know if you agree, but I think that's the biggest win for the Chargers since they moved into SoFi. They beat the world champs at home while they're trying to build the brand, and they do it in dramatic fashion. That's how you build a fan base.
Yeah, and with a quarterback who had surgery, even though it was on his non-throwing end, you could tell Herbert was not affected. Was affected, was not at 100%. And that, you're right, the running skill of him is very underrated. It reminded me a little bit earlier in the year when the Chargers beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and Herbert had some big runs late in that game to seal it. Some of those designs, some of those are instinctive. I thought in the game against the Eagles that maybe he was going to the run a little too quickly, simply because that left hand and that surgery was bothering him enough to affect some of his throws. He still made some amazing throws and showed a lot of toughness. So yes, Harbaugh, boy, what he's done, you talk about good coaching. When a coach comes into a place like what Ben Johnson has done in Chicago, if you got even a little bit of a quarterback, he really turns the franchise around. What Sean Payton has done in Denver, what Harbaugh's done with the Chargers. So we can go on and on about that. As for the Eagles, you know what? They still have an outstanding defense, and that's the thing about the Chargers. They play great defense in that game against the Eagles. But Philadelphia, I think it's what we said all along. If Hurts is not running well, and if Barkley's not running well, and they're playing a pretty good football team, they're not going to win. I mean, Jalen Hurts, other defenses and other coaches who've prepared against Jalen Hurts have talked about his limited throws, and he can make some plays, but there's a lot he can, and you can defend that, and that creates a problem. Obviously, he had a bad game with the interceptions because he'd only had 2 coming into the game, and the Eagles will be a playoff team. But I just think, and he won a Super Bowl, so you can't take that away from Jalen Hurts. But if you force him to have to throw to Beach, and you saw that when they got ahead, and then they couldn't hold on against the Cowboys. I mean, the Eagles defense let him down, but he couldn't lead them back. And I think that's going to continue to be a problem for the Eagles.
Chris, we're up against it, but I wanted to say there's 2 job openings already for the Titans and the Giants, and you're suggesting there could be a few more. Do we wait to the end of the year, or could there be another 1 or 2 coming here before the end? Because I think we're going to have our typical number, 6 or 7 head coaches in the NFL not retained as they're on the hot seat.
Yeah, I think Mike McDaniel has really done enough to hang around and get a chance with a new general manager. I thought that was going to be an opening. I'm not quite sure what the Raiders situation is. I think they would probably go another year with Pete Carroll once they decide on some other things. Atlanta, I would be shocked, and maybe they will go to the end of the year, and it won't just be Raheem Morris. They've already done some firing there. And Cincinnati is a tentative place in terms of, their defense is awful. They fire their defensive coordinator. I think it might be time, but that might be in the hands of Joe Burrow. Arizona's another one where it's unfair to the coach, I think, given the Kyler Murray being saddled with him. The offense got a little better with Jacoby Brissett, so you might see Gannon out. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, when the dominoes fall, there's going to be more than just the 2 that we have, and I'm just curious, JT. We got to watch closely about who the prime candidates are. A lot of the top offensive coordinators that were candidates before have been taken up, and so you might have to go with the defensive guy. Jesse Minter, by the way, of the Chargers is a sharp one. Chris Shula with the Rams. Mike McDonald got that chance for Baltimore as a defensive minded coach, and as a head coach, he's done well. So we'll watch that closely. But I certainly think there'll be at least 2 more openings. Probably not till the end of the year because we're this far in.
You're the best. Thanks a lot. Follow Chris Myers on all his social media channels. Everything he's doing here, you'll get content around the clock. Chris, we'll talk to you next week. Always appreciate you, my friend.
All right, we'll see you Sunday from Houston. Take care, JT.
Thanks, Chris. Outstanding to talk to Chris Myers, and I think he has a pretty good understanding of what's going on with coaches, players, and all of that. I'm just telling you what I think. And when Chris looks at the Houston Texans, the Raiders have to play the Houston Texans. Wow. Who do you want a quarterback in that game? Imagine that game with the Houston Texans coming up and what that looks like with their pass rush. So I personally believe that there's big decisions coming up here on the rotation of the offensive line, right? Who's going to play quarterback? Who's healthy to play? And you're going to run Ashton Jeanty in Houston? Are you going to run Ashton Jeanty? I'm not saying bench Ashton Jeanty. I'm not saying bench him. I'm just saying, you want to give him 20 carries against Houston, or do you want to give him 10? I don't know. I have no idea what John Spytek, Pete Carroll, and Greg Olson want to do. They compete. But big decisions coming up here with the schedule. The Eagles' defensive line, the Houston Texans' defensive line, wow, and the Kansas City Chiefs' defensive line. That's a lot. That's a lot of decisions. I'm not a big fan of business decisions, Clay. That's a term you hear around a lot. Fans throw it out, business decisions. Pete Carroll said today, Max is going through a knee. Okay, it's a point where if they want to rest Max during the week to play on Sunday, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. And if they get to the final 2 games and Max's knee is not draining well and they go, hey, Max, you're out. We need you for next year. I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, that's just smart asset management. And you don't want to go into the next year with any sort of problems when you need those guys, those core pieces of players, because that's your fundamental backbone. And at the same time, what do you really want to put him out there for anyway, other than to give you the great exemplary performance he always does? He doesn't need to prove himself right now in the final games.
Yeah, I think that's a big, big, big topic going forward. A big, big topic going forward is the light business decisions that are good business decisions. That's it. And they're going to make them before they run it by us. All right? They're going to make these decisions with the players, the training staff, and that's it. That's it. And I'm good with it. Whatever they do, I'm sure they're going to do it with the best interest of the fans, yes, and the players. And the fans don't believe that. The fans are going to come up with something goofy. Some of them are, oh, why? No, they're looking to win. They're looking to compete. They're looking to play the best players who are available. And now something we haven't been in this situation for a long time. The season's out of hand, gone with the record, but they still have to play really good football organizations. You got to play the Texans and the Eagles and the Chiefs. You better believe the franchise built by Al Davis is going to compete in those games. And still in the background, there's going to be talk by everyone of what's right to do. We'll see. We're not going to react late to it. We're going to have opinions about it, but we're going to see how this plays out.
Sure. And I hate to ever even bring it up, but there's 3 ACLs on this team that you don't want to mess with because you have to make sure that everyone stays healthy enough to start the season on time. I mean, think about Daniel Jones with the Colts. They still have to find a quarterback to start the season next year because there's no way a guy like DJ is going to be back to start in September because of an Achilles injury. That takes a full year to heal. So just be mindful of asset management, business decisions, or whatever. These are these aren't ultimatums, but these are something that are very serious, like ultimatums, where you're saying, like, do I want what I need for next year? Because right now, if you get hurt and a reasonable facsimile is saying the season is all but finished, then you are negligent in your job of managing the team, and you have to do things right.
Yep. When we come back, Vinny Bonsignore joins us in his regular spot. Vinny was there. He asked a question to Pete Carroll about his thumb or his hand injury. I'll ask Vinny about that. And then we'll get all the bricklayers up to stream and up to speed. I like how I said that, up to stream with our streaming here, and some good things coming with that on the flagship. Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Wake up with the morning tailgate.
Players want to win. Of course. Organization will take the L for April. And I think everybody in Raider Nation understands
that. In the process, like, there's some good young players that are in the building, and we're starting to see that kind of come to fruition as the season goes on, and as more young players sort of step up and get bigger roles and earn bigger roles and show that they deserve bigger roles, bodes well moving forward.
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive
but not
local
today.
casino partner
I
of the
think,
Las Vegas Raiders and Elite.
I think the Maury interview probably should have played today because I think Skirball or that'll be gone. So we don't have to worry about that. But that Cole Thompson interview I want to play because he had a lot of good things. He had a lot of good things to say. Yeah. And we'll do that.
It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. Father to our
Chris is a good guest.
with the Castroverde. We founded this firm for you. We're the Castroverde brothers, and we have your back.
BrothersWin.com.
This is JT for Las Vegas's premier cigar lounge, La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village. You're going to be blown away like I was when I stepped into their walk-in humidor. Over 500 cigar labels to choose from. Plus, they feature one of the largest whiskey, scotch, and bourbon selections anywhere in the valley with live local entertainment 7 nights a week. Great place to watch football games. Check it out at LaCasaCigars.com.
Hey, Las Vegas, it's Chris Fox with Simply Vegas Real Estate. You know, I've been in Vegas for 34 years, and I know the market inside and out. So if you're buying, selling, investing, maybe you have a property you need to get rid of fast, I can help. 702-419-4346. You know, home values are still strong, interest rates are shifting, and smart moves today can pay off big tomorrow. So if you're ready to make a change, call me, 702-419-4346, 702-419-4346, or go to foxsellsvegas.com. Simply Vegas Real Estate. Broker number 100960.
Hey, did you see that game last weekend? It was crazy.
Actually, we were there.
Wait, like in person? How'd you swing that?
Allegiant had a super affordable nonstop flight out there. And with how low the airfare was, buying tickets to the game was a no-brainer.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Allegiant.com right now. Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Non-stop flights from Las Vegas to Fresno, California. One way for as low as $48. Must be purchased by 12/13/2025 for travel between 11/17/2025 and 5/18/2026. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
Get ready to raid the pubs this football season at PT's Gold. PT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold. Join us on game days to catch the game. Enjoy ice-cold $3 Blue Moon Lights and Coors Light Pints, $20 Topo Chico Buckets, plus game day food favorites. You can win free tickets to catch Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, along with a $100 Allegiant Bar Credit, $100 Uber card, and team gear to wear throughout the game. Your home for football and fun is at PT's Gold, PT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold. Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com.
Hi, I'm Paul Pata of Paul Pata Law.
And I'm Tony Abatangelo of the Vegas Lawyers, a division of Paul Pata Law. With the holidays upon us, the team at Paul Pata Law wants to wish you and yours a safe and joyous season.
No matter what your legal needs are, our mission is to deliver legal excellence with compassion, trust, and respect. From our family to yours. Happy holidays from Paul Pata Law.
And the Vegas Lawyers.
Win, cheer, and ring in the new year with PT's Taverns this December. Join us for holiday parties, VGK watch parties, and New Year's Eve specials. Plus, ask your bar host how you can enter to win your share of $25,000 in free slot play just by playing with your True Rewards card. Oh, and happy hour? Twice daily, half off all drinks, even the bitch. Yeah, we said it. With over 70 taverns, there is always a neighborhood tavern near you. Visit ptstaverns.com to find yours today.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Local Aid 72, your workforce solution.
Second, he's going to throw again. He's got it left. He's ain't got it. Yes, sir. Big secret. Touchdown, Raiders. Overthrow on the ground. And the Raiders with zeros on the first quarter clock answer the Broncos drive with a whoa.
Yeah, there are some good things that happen. There are some good things that happen. And Vinny Bonsignor covers the good things that happen along with the good things that I cover. Right, Vinny? We can't sit here every day. I heard you with Clay the other day. You can't come in and do a 3-hour negative show on everything that's going south without highlighting a Jackson touchdown or Kenny playing well or Caleb Rogers having a good performance. That's part of the program.
And go. What's going on? A lot of what's going on. Generally, be part of the answers. Obviously, the rest of them have all the answers for 2025. They may not have all the answers for 2026. They probably won't. But the more answers that you can come up with, the better off you're going to be moving forward. There's a lot of things that the Raiders need to do. But you can't also lose sight of the fact that there were some performances by some young players that are going to be part of the solution around here over the next few years.
Yeah, and I think what's happening now, and you were there, and we played Pete Carroll's interview from earlier. The main thing that I disagreed with, and I said it on the show, is I don't think Geno should start, especially not practicing the first day and being injured. I think Kenny Pickett has shown enough that he should start this game if any of the games out there. Is that fair?
The chance, Smith starting on Sunday or even playing are very, very, very low. So I think right now they're just doing what NFL teams normally do, playing things close to the vest, let the practice play out, and probably keeping the Philadelphia Eagles guessing a little bit. But I would suspect when we get to Philadelphia, and very cold Philadelphia, by the way, it's going to be Kenny Pickett as the starting quarterback.
Yeah. So when you get to the rest of the starters and the business decisions and Max's knee, or Caillou's out now and everything else that's going down, what are some of the things you foresee going forward when it comes to playing time, snap count, after we've learned all year long that a lot of it has to do with practice and how they practice with preparation?
Max Crosby to play right through the finish line. That's how he's scared. We're seeing transition now over at right guard. I think that's Caleb Rogers' job now, and that might be something that he's grabbed hold of and won't let go of for a long, long time. That good of a prospect. And it was interesting. We talked to him today and about the things that he needed to work on in order to get to this point. And I think that fans sometimes overlook some of the development. And when you're at this level, and there's something that you need to work on that's kind of leaving you not quite ready to play. It doesn't mean you're miles away or that you're not a very good football player. It just means at this level, and especially this coaching staff and this organization, they want to put you in a position to succeed, not just for this game or last game or the rest of the season, but for your entire career. They see a lot of potential and maybe even some high-level potential in Caleb Rogers, but you don't want to just throw somebody out there before they're ready and try to create the best possible situation to create chances for success. And that's exactly what Caleb Rogers has done in his first career or second career start and first career full game that he played on Sunday, and I would expect that to continue. But guys like that, Jack Best, who's minutes and play time has gone up. Yeah, sometimes injuries play a role in that, but when you get an opportunity and you start playing well, that just earns you more time. That's how life works. That's how the NFL works. And I think the Raiders' young players are going to be better off for this experience, not to just have everything handed off to you when you weren't ready, to earn it. Those are life traits. Those are traits and work habit traits that are going to benefit these young players. I know it's frustrating sometimes to fans. They just want everybody to get whatever they can get as soon as they can get it, whether they deserve it or not. I don't know. Maybe that's just how our society is nowadays. But I'm kind of old school. I know this is an old school staff, and I think old school staffs are pretty good at things in terms of making guys, earn things, but also understanding that there's a development, and you're trying literally to put guys in the best possible position to succeed. That's what that they're trying to do with some of these players. Which, oh, by the way, you're starting to see some of these young players now. Oh my gosh, they're playing well. Okay.